good evening, and very warm welcome back. And we'd like to invite you all to enjoy a drill to get started. Thank you.
Hey Raja, अपने मन मंत्री को सेकंड में ऑर्डर कर। अशरीरी विदेही स्थिति में स्थित कर सकते हो। करो ऑर्डर 1 सेकंड में।
welcome back. Really gives the feeling of that quiet mind, and yesterday the alignment with our truth and the beautiful truth of who we are. Then we can stay with the Dharma, we can stay with the highest ethics and from our security. But when there's identification and identity confusion, then it's impossible. We might have principles, but we don't have the strength to stay with it. So it's really nice when it was shared as well. Sometimes it's translated as way of life, the way, but really foundation is the truth and the security. So welcoming everyone, and I'd like to hand over now and welcome in Prashant. Good evening.
Hello, and come back. It was nice that in this transmission, Baba's huge emphasis becoming bodiless, and the Murli we heard the angelic perspective. What does the Father like? Father like you to be walking, moving angels. This is not a superhuman destination. We can only achieve what is normal for us. Ordinarily, we have moved to another level. We think in an abnormal way, and here. So we were discussing, what does this mean? Angels. Think of the angel, see the body of light. The most important aspect of the angel is double light. That's what Baba mentioned also in the Murli. So let us come to that experience now. Double light, we need to let go of everything of this story. If one is having even one string somewhere, then it is not double light. And we can experiment with this. A few minutes, this gathering, all this helps in a big way. And for anything of this kind, we need to go for 100%. We go for the best intellect, best light, best sight. And we don't need to say, I'm new, so I'm going to try 50%. No. We have the option to use 100% paras. We have the option to see the way Baba sees. And if we are doing this, then many things become easy. To start with, we see the story as story. No different to Harry Potter story, or no different to any cartoon story. There is a story, and we also know it is repeated. That is the way the Father sees it. It's a film. And it is separate. It is not my story, it is not our story. It is a story. And with this best intellect, we can see the world beyond the story. The whole story appears small, and the reality is important. It is big in significance. This is where the true family is. They all look like living stars, tiny points, stars with personalities. These are the living stars in this supreme sky. And this appears so normal and beautiful. Whether with eyes open or eyes closed, we come in this dimension. This is the world of the family and the father. All incorporeal. And that is natural. All divine. All immortal. When we are in this paras, using paras, this is not a meditation experience. This appears natural. This world is real. This is important. This is our world, our family. It is important. It is eternal. It is strange. We could just forget it for so long. This is the only real world. That physical world is a story. There are many stories in this world. That is just another story. This environment, alokik environment, favors the soul. Soul becomes conscious. He wakes up to know that his form is like a living star, star with a halo that appears normal and natural. This second, he is not seeing himself in the body, just tiny point, and it appears completely normal, free. To be immortal appears normal. To belong to this supreme sky appears normal. To belong to this family that appears normal, and that all belong to this family. No one is an outsider. To be worthy, to be loved by God appears normal. Close bond, an eternal bond with the supreme friend, that appears normal. Just that we were not conscious. Now we are conscious to see this. Just like someone is asleep and wakes up, and he just sees what has always been. His complete independence from the story appears normal. He sees the story, he sees that film, and this gathering and online, all that is happening in that story. understands his complete independence from it. It is not mixed. Story may finish and story may not be there even. It is not his world. Invisible soul is the invisible prince who belongs to the King of Kings. Silently aware that he is very lucky. He needs nothing from anywhere. And nothing can harm him ever. Nothing in the three worlds can harm him, even the slightest. So carefree. He knows everyone is lucky. Everyone is lovely, loving, and lucky. Every second, we are just seeing this dimension. Every second, the invisible prince is just conscious. When he's conscious, he just sees this wonderland. We are talking about world of disbelief. There can't be a bigger prize anywhere than this, and this prize is eternal. That is what he feels. To start with, this is the world of truth. This is the real world. As opposed to living in a story and thinking you're lucky. So here, this invisible prince is lucky, not in deception. He's in the real world. His life is with God. And close bond with God. This is the region of immortality. He himself is immortal and beyond harm. This is the big things. This is the region of joy and love. Natural joy and love. Uninterrupted. The family, and it is all divine nobles. Naturally, they are divine because there is no demon at this level. No trace of demon. And that's why divine and noble, they are full and without desires and without disappointments. Never. All are like this. All we have done is use the best sight, best intellect. And we are just seeing what is natural and normal. For the invisible prince who is conscious, this is not a meditation experience. This is his world, this is his home, this is his life. It is not based upon the story. This life is forever. As we continue on our journey, we understand this truth, the option. Also understand the huge loss not to experience what is natural and obvious, just not to experience. Leave aside creating a bondage and penalties, that is another. Also, we understand the huge contrast. Every second we are experiencing this, we are staying awake, we contribute to the true benevolence. That double light, that is natural life of this invisible prince. Invisible prince is the angelic prince. And angels will perform angelic task. So just his attitude, vision, understanding creates light. He experiences double light, but also contributes to the lighthouse. It is the lighthouse effect. That is, it will become easy for others to see this, their own truth. Thank you. So we'll come to some thoughts. We said yesterday the Dharma, Swa Dharma, that is possible only if the Swa, self, is conscious. If the self is not even conscious, then it is not Swa Dharma, not our ethics, not the ethics of the angel, not the ethics of the invisible prince. It is ethics of someone else, not Swa, not self. And that someone else will, of course, use the title I. But that is ego ethics. And different other dharma start coming. There is also a dharma, the term in Sanskrit that is adharma. And adharma is opposite of dharma. So someone that is breaking his own moral code, he understands he is, entering into adharma. He is not following dharma. So compared by the deity standards, when we reach copage, it is adharma by the deity standards. But we said by different institutions, they have their own dharma, their own ethics. By the deity standards, if we use the word dharma for religion, so if there is a religion in the deity world, that word cannot be used in the Ravan's kingdom. Ravan's kingdom is adharma. So we cannot use the same word, for deities. They have a dharma and there is this dharma and that dharma. No, in the Copper Age, Iron Age, the system structure is different. It becomes an adharma. So I'm going to touch this subject, how we can hold this self, how to keep this self-conscious. This is a challenge for all of us. How to make it easy. What is realistic? One thing that we are emphasizing all along, 1 minute, 5 minutes, but let there be accuracy in those minutes. It will increase. All habits start somewhere. Good habits, bad habits, they all start somewhere. In time, they become very firm, but they started somewhere. And same here also. We need to introduce this new perspective. Also know that ego will adapt and ego will create new hates, and that is not the aim. That is not Swa. Swa is only when I am out of the story. If it is still tied with the story, still tied with the role in this case, something around Prashant, then it is not Swa. It is some kind of a ego claiming the word I am spiritual, this kind of a language, when I am very holy. And so that I will be, it comes in me, it will come in each one. That is not Swa. That is why extra emphasis to check and start from the true self. Maybe for 1 minute, but let it be from there. Let us see the big map. To hold this broad intellect that is important in this. If I am not using the broad intellect, then this will become very natural. It will appear natural. I'll give an example. This broad intellect and narrow intellect. One boy here, a 4-year-old boy, and his mother tells the story. Let us say the name of the boy is Freddy. The name is different, but I'm using a name. And mother takes Freddy to his friend. He plays there for 1 hour, and then they go home. And make a guess what happens. He goes home. What happens? Mother says he cries for the rest of the day. He's missing his friend. So this happens every week. So mother wants to give him a nice time. So they visit his friend. They play for 1 hour, and he comes home, and she says he cries for the rest of the 8 hours. He cries. So should I visit there at all? That is a question for her. Is it worth going to his friend? if it upsets him for 8 hours. Now mother also goes there. Mother is not getting upset, but he gets upset. What is the difference? Why this happens to Freddie and not his mother?
The boy became attached, and child is not aware of the reality beyond, can't see the exit. His mind is consumed with the game and friends. She can see the bigger picture, and the boy cannot see what's ahead.
Good, very good. You know what happens with children? That their intellect is such they can't see the time dimension clearly. And as was said, that you tell the child we are going to live in 1 hour. 1 hour, they can't understand this. There is going to be end to that, whatever they are doing. So they can't see the exit, as was said. They can't see the end. And if you can't see the end, then subconsciously, you believe you will be with his friend forever. So there is this blind spot. You are believing in something that is not true. And once you have told yourself you are going to be there forever, you allow yourselves to go in this direction. You allow yourselves to go down the spiral and cross this dotted line. There is no reason. I'm going to be here forever. So he gets into the attachments, gets into belief that it will be there forever. He sort of there crossed the line. And now suddenly mother says, time to go back home. And suddenly he says, where is this coming from? I thought this will be forever. Why this end? Why this loss? So what really happened? He got deceived into believing that it will be forever. No one told him like this, but intellect cannot see far enough. That is the reason gets into such a complicated bondage. Is the major reason for lots of sorrow. In fact, 100% of sorrow. That is the only reason. Many times, some people say, children create attachments. It is so natural. Can you tell children? So they say, because children create attachments, it is okay for adults to create attachments. That's what they are saying. No, children, their intellect it doesn't allow them to see things clearly. Children are deceived because of their intellect. But let us come to us. These are all adults, sensible. And in this journey, bigger journey, we have a guaranteed exit. We are not going to stay here forever. But if we have created attachments here, and it appears so natural, my, this language, and deeply believe that this is my this, and this is, I own this, I made this, and society also accepts it. In spite of knowledge, if we are still creating attachments or holding on to old attachments, what is the reason? Our intellect is not able to see the end in a clear way. We are going to be here for 100 years. We are going to be here for, maybe even longer. So it is long time. And I can't, it is not real for me. End is not real. And when end is not real, subconsciously we believe that we are here forever. And just like Freddy, we cross the line. We settle down in this world in a deep way. That's why there are disappointments and sudden, traumas, and because we feel free to create bondages. Baba uses these words. We need broad intellect, we need unlimited intellect, we need paras intellect. Paras includes all this. The necessary part of paras is this unlimited intellect. Our dimension is eternal. Our world is eternal. We are ourselves eternal. Paras can hold that. And on that scale, whether you are here for 100 years or 1,000 years, it is just like 1 hour. For Freddy, 1 hour is a big thing. For us, 5,000 years, it is just in a film. It is a drama. It is not something that is everything for us. We need to see it with the broad intellect. Who is God? God is Parasnath. God is God. He is able to see things with natural. It can help others to come out of this funny space everyone is in adharma. He establishes dharma just because he can see on a big scale and see the childishness that is happening. Just like we can see clearly childishness of Freddy, other children may not be able to understand. They think it is all normal, to cry. Of course, why mother brought me out, that is the way they will think other children. Whereas adults can see the childishness. Same happens here. Baba is seeing things in a naturally on a different scale, broad scale. We understand, we hear knowledge, but still we have to make the intellect broad. We have to make the intellect strong. Otherwise, we may know about dharma and we know about God and we know about this personality of the angel, but ego will still be dominant. Reactions will come from the ego. Because this narrow intellect supports ego. Absolutely. That stone intellect absolutely supports ego. And ego sees in that petty things, lives in that story. Ego, what we said, and body consciousness, that word is used, Ravan, this is embodiment of ignorance. So there is ignorance, but bigger title for ego, it is stubborn in error. Ego doesn't want to be told it is wrong. Ego says, I am right. It is like an absolute slogan. Its chart is, I am always right. It doesn't want to accept anything different. That is what we have to deal with, for ourselves. But we can bring about change, shift from knowing, we understand, know, accept, but from knowing to becoming, that change will happen if the intellect is made broad. For that, like a homework, an exercise, to grapple with immortality. We just need to see repeatedly on this big scale. One reason we draw this sketch again and again, it is not just for understanding 3 words. Someone mentioned to me, I like the 3 words. It is not just for that. For us to This is the real world. What we are seeing here, this is the main world. And we need to be reminded of this world. We need to create our own reminders. Ordinarily, our thoughts, our talks, everything is in that box. Day in and day out. Yeah, we are in the Harry Potter. We are not coming out of it. We need, and then how can suddenly Dharma be, of the deities, angel, if our yoga is with the story? So that's fun, reminders of this big reality of ours and our true family, and how Father sees, and remembering Father, but most important part in this, what he sees and what he feels, and try and grasp his perspective. Children become adults, and children don't remain childish forever. They become adults. Their attitude changes, intellect changes. They become adults because of the company of adults. It makes them think how adults are seeing things. They're observing. If they don't have company of adults, they won't grow out of this childishness. Same thing for us. We need this shift, perspective of Paras. For that adult, we have to see how Baba sees and what he knows and what he feels and what he thinks, to grapple with this. And it would be nice to hear from you some thoughts.
There was a question which subsequently got answered. Happy to hear other questions. I was just thinking, I really appreciate the reminder that ego is stubborn in error, because it's one of the practical points that we know we have a game to play. One practice we hear to see each day as our last. Sometimes they even Lokics use that. Do you have any practical examples of how to stretch the intellect? Because we just assume things will be the same tomorrow in our default mode. Do you have any comments on that?
Yeah. And the various things that Baba tells us, for example, spin the cycle. And what happens in this? People can't even think of their own one life. They are so caught up into my today, what happened, it has become so big. Someone said something, they can't let go of this. And here Baba says, we have been born and died and born again. See the different ages and different births, different genders, different parts. Just as a fun, you are seeing this journey. It is a huge and like a nourishment for the broad intellect. And having done this, seen that whole big map, then come back to that situation that you were concerned about or worried about. It will appear very small. You will see in the context. You will see it in a new way. But more in different ways to try this. Seeing the life in the supreme home, and it is eternal. It exists forever, and nothing in the three worlds can change this reality. Experience this. Experience this world and this whole life. Everything is extra. All this feeds the the paras. We often say this is the paras perspective. We just need to, you come back to it, even micro experiences, even for short, but get a glimpse of the paras, and that is nourishment. Baba uses this word destruction, because ordinarily, even though we have the end and death, it is not real for them. But if they hear the word destruction, that becomes real somehow. Something wakes up, as if, what? There is no way there is going to be. Even though death is so sure, because it is not real for them, it has gone in somewhere. That file is not important. But destruction, they are just reminded there is an exit. Whatever that works for us. But we need to know that everything here, this blue box that we see, and everything within that blue box is not ours. This is a foreign world for us. Just like Freddie and his mother goes there. She knows that is not her house. That is just for, maybe 1 hour, maybe 5 minutes. But it is not her house. And she deals with it that way. That's why she enjoys actually being there. Enjoys going there, enjoys coming out of the place. Invisible prince is noble and he is divine. He is very lucky. He doesn't need to come here with a begging bowl. He doesn't need to start collecting things here. And this is not his word. He comes here and with the full understanding, everything here, including his body and subtle and gross things. It is not my world. The moment we are careless about this, line is crossed. And then discrimination gets lost even further. In that confusion, more confusion comes in. Before long, one is at a deep end. So repeatedly, we will cross the line, but at least to come back to this cleansed position. This is not our world. For the invisible prince, he has his alaukic world. That is his world. And he is very lucky. Like the Father. Father is an ocean of bliss and ocean of love and ocean. Same. All are. Recently Baba said, you are like the Father. Yesterday. So it applies to all of us. If we do not cross the line, and if we do not behave like Freddie, then we are okay. You want to add anything?
It's very clear. There is one question. Would appreciate clarity on whether the Paris intellect creates goals or is ambitious or has plans for service. So we're told to create plans. When goals are not met, however, are we not then disconnected from our duty, Swa Dharma?
Sure. What happens for Paras? He is in this world, physical world, more like a game. What happens when you are playing a game? You are not forgotten your world, your life, your friends and your job, and you are playing some game for 10 minutes. And if you are playing a game, you are playing to win. You got a very clear goal and you got, You want to score as much as possible, and you follow the rules and you do everything. But you also know how to lose, and you also know how to fall, and you also know how to start. You are playing the game, and with the spirit of the game. And you also know to finish the game. Game finishes. You also know to come out of it. That is exactly the space we want to be. And that not to win all the time, that is not a big issue for the player. But not to cross the line, that is more important. Then it is a success. At the present time for us, success is not to cross the line, and our bigger success is helping others come out of the deception. That will happen if we don't cross the line.
It might be interesting to understand a bit more about how acceptance works, because in the earlier conversation, we're not trying to change the story, but service appears to be within the story. But actually, it's first we need to accept and then play a part. And would you maybe like to say a bit about how this works with the different sides of the brain, if you think it's relevant?
Yeah.
Or not brain, but the paradox of the approach, in a way, the left brain, right brain.
Sure. Yeah, in the game, when we are playing the game, there is this natural, this the brain is a good place to start. We got this right brain and left brain, and when you are playing a game, one side of you, the right brain, it holds the space that this is a game, and it holds that big picture, and is relaxed about it. That's why he can accept win loss, because it is a game. He has not forgotten the bigger map. But left side, it goes into the game, understands the details and the place to win. And this is the paradox, these two sides. And that is what we will take this subject in more detail in another session. We can create this time that understanding the brain, but know that this paradox exists, and that's when the game is. So here we are saying this is a story, and Baba also tells us this is a story, but at the same time tells us, hard work, and this. That's exactly what we do in a game. We are working really hard, run, jump, do whatever that is required, learn the skills. At the same time, we are holding that space, that this is a game and it is fun, not losing that. That balance, that is what naturally happens when we are playing a game. That's what also will happen here. More the invisible prince wakes up. That original state, it is not a lazy state. When you wake up, it won't happen that he says, I am immortal and I am happy, I don't need to do anything. That will not happen. He will be more enthusiastic in this game. Just want to come to another subject of the Dharma. Want to add few other words to grasp this subject of the Dharma. We used the word yesterday, ethics, because we are understanding the broader meaning of the Dharma. Baba uses the word Swa Dharma. And some other words that may be helpful in this, grasping this subject. So these words associated with the meaning of the word dharma include mentality, mindset, values. If you want to write, some mentality, mindset, values, principles, spirit, code, ethos, ethics, core ideology, duty, and mission. So all of it, is part of it. In the subject of dharma. One nice way, it is understood. It is like what is the dharma of a certain institution, certain country, certain religion. What is the dharma of deities? And what is the dharma? Fundamental character or spirit of a culture. What is that? Main, fundamental. We used the word yesterday. Dharma. Dhar means that something that holds. What is it that holds your life? What is that principle that holds your life? And we said for the deities, love. They won't compromise love. They may die, but love remains. So here, fundamental character or spirit of a culture. Is it love? Or is it something else? A competition? Or is it profit? What is it that is deep inside? The underlying sentiment that informs and influences the beliefs, customs, and practices of a group. So it is underlying. It is not, the deities are not speaking about love, love, love. That is not going on. But it is underlying sentiment and that influences the beliefs, customs, and practices of a group. Like here at INH, what happens? Underlying sentiment is selfishness. Underlying sentiment is greed. Underlying sentiment is vices. And this, song, there's so much talk about love, that is manipulation. That is going on to get his underlying dharma. Dharma is different, and this is the method to get his what he wants. And so that can happen in the INH. Even the institutions that claim core ideology, they say core ideology is to create, some jobs, and core ideology to help the country, core ideology to help the environment. But that is the language, that is the outer form. Their real underlying sentiment may be something different. It can still be vices of some kind, like greed. Maybe real, they may be genuine, but it could be something different. So dharma is not what they are talking about. Dharma is what is underlying. For deities, underlying sentiment is love. It may be different in different times. As was said, competition to be top. That may be the underlying sentiment for someone else. Another language that is used, the set of moral beliefs, attitudes, habits that are characteristic of a group or a person. So just a few words that help us grasp this subject of dharma. The most important part of that, those who are in dharma, golden age, they don't talk about that. It is underlying. It is silent. But that is the most important. That is what supports their life and their language and their beliefs and whatever they do, their actions.
It's very interesting, the outer, what is said and maybe even believed, but what is driving it. If the seed is insecurity, it's not going to be in line with truth. So, yeah.
Very happy if there are any other comments or questions.
You mentioned about how we know the checking if it is accurate. Would you say if we've got it right, there will be completely sorry-free? When you were talking about the game and the balance and the way that we play the game, but it's completely light, so that the checking would be not giving, not taking sorrow. Perhaps that's one question.
And absolutely, sorrow is not natural for the invisible prince. Sorrow, for that matter, sorrow or pain comes to anyone. And let us take the example of the body. Pain is not we don't go through pain, in an ordinary way. Only if I go in a wrong posture, then there is pain. Ordinarily, nature wants to honor us. Nature wants to give us good experience. And the same thing happens at all levels. Natural life is of joy and love and contentment and happiness. That's what nature wants to give to each and everyone. Even the slightest feeling of anxiety or boredom or some disappointment, those feelings come when we have gone in a wrong posture. Inner posture has changed. Crossing that dotted line is wrong posture. When we understand this entire physical world is not our world, and that includes Prashant, I'm underlining this, because ego would like to say, yes, I'm detaching from everything, but this is me. No, the starting position for us is the invisible prince. Invisible prince has to wake up. And he says this entire physical world, it is a foreign world. And nothing there is me or mine. It is part of the story. And let us grasp that complete freedom. It is possible. We can, even as we are hearing it, we can play with this. So we all are associated with a role and a body, not just a body, but a role. We give the example, Mary acting in a drama as a camel. Camel is separate to Mary. It is a role. So also here, you are understanding invisible prince is conscious, and he understands and holds this understanding that this story is separate to the foreign world. And he is separate, completely separate. The moment he comes in that space, then different game starts. Then he is in the right posture. The moment he is claiming anything there, even during that minute, this is all we are saying. For a minute to grasp this, 100% freedom, 100% paras, and those experiences will follow. If even during those minutes I'm mixing, then it means I'm in the wrong posture.
These are all aspects to make it easy. I think you mentioned quite a few practices. You just said drama is extra, separation of the role, valuing micro experiences, a clean start. You also said so how to make it easy, but you also said what is realistic. So what about that question? What is realistic?
Yes, realistic to come to 1 minute, few minutes, 5 minutes. Yesterday we said even half a minute. That is realistic. We don't say from today. It's like some religions, they say commandments. Don't do this, don't do that. As if from now on you are going to be holy forever. That is not a position, but let us introduce this new habit and then nourish that habit. That's the program. And during that 1 minute, let us go for the best. That is our strength. We all have this intellect already. Paras, everyone got paras. And we have got the understanding now. So we can use paras for 1 minute properly, fully. Anyone can do this. Even someone who has not done the 7 days, but he can start for 1 minute. Little determination, little concentration, and fun. All along, we are using energy of fun. It is not a sort of discipline. No. Even this is we are playing with these ideas. That is sustainable. If you do it with the energy of fun, then you will be able to do it forever. You will not get tired with this. It will increase, enthusiasm will increase.
It's only not fun for ego. So if we notice any heaviness, then it's a sign to shift. So that's another game. Nice.
Let us create another short practice. And like we are using these different words and sometimes radical words, but they are aimed to help get the experience, help us come in the soul awareness. So in this practice, again, we are using the best intellect, best sight, and we are seeing this entire physical world just for these minutes, few minutes, as if it is plastic. Everything that we are, what we call drama, as if it is a plastic, made plastic dolls and plastic houses. And invisible soul is the invisible traveler here, is the invisible prince. For him, it is a huge contrast. He has no interest to jump in that plastic camp. He sees everything, he knows everything, but he has no intention to jump and get lost in the plastic world. It becomes easy for him to be the detached observer of everything. But he is very fond of his world. And his world is of light and alaukic, unearthly, trans-temporal. Means it is spiritual, real, important. This is the only world for him. That plastic world is not his world. Doors are closed. By using the plastic, the word plastic, he understands that is not his world. his family and treasures, everything is at the alokik level. And this world for him is important, it is real, it is eternal. He understands his true family is here. He is lucky, everyone is lucky. All are like living stars. That is so beautiful to know this. When God is like a living star, he is quite happy to accept that this is the way our life is. It is, every aspect is perfect. He is not comparing anything with his plastic. Plastic door is closed. He has no interest there. Here his world is, it's a world of perfection. Everyone is perfect. They all are naturally viceless. If they don't even need anything from that plastic world, that naturally makes them viceless and sorrowless and selfless. That's why divine and alokik. Even during this minute, just as we are experimenting with this, we are already making this contribution to the true benevolence. We create light in this dimension. Distracted by using the word plastic and all that, there is less distraction, and the experience of the alokik will become deeper. And as we continue on our journey, even during these breaks and the rest of the evening also, it continues, this game continues. We may come back in the plastic world continues, but the game continues also. And what is the game? In that plastic world, there are golden deers. There are 3 dark doors. It can be some glitter, some junk, some song. Let us see if you can stay undeceived. What is your price? When do you get deceived? That you completely forget about the alokik and disappear into that plastic camp. This is the game. Game is to stay alive. That is the game. For the invisible prince, for the invisible player to remain alive. Know beforehand that plastic world will come out with glitter, gold, and song. And you see it all, but your big success is not to be deceived by the plastic camp.
Thank you. So would you like to, we have rooms now?
Yes.
And yesterday we had the discussion, what is the Swa Dharma that we can grasp of the deities? So today, what is the method, or anything you want to suggest?
I would suggest how to win this game. With Maya's game to offer you glitter, gold, and a song. how to win this game and not be deceived.
Glitter. Did you say glitter? What was the second one?
Glitter, gold,
Gold. Yeah.
and
Metaphorically, we might not all want gold, but we understand. So just acknowledging any questions that just come in, we'll save them for after. Put the discussion question in the chat and we'll announce it shortly. So I think Heather will be inviting us in, and enjoy, and see you shortly, 10-15 minutes. Well, welcome back. So nice to have been able to visit some rooms and hear your discussion. I'd like to share some of the points that we made when the session was happening, that felt like there were a series of practical aspects. So maybe to reflect on those for a minute or so. Thank you. I felt that it was useful to revisit some of the points, and even though it might be a revision, just even one aspect that created a lot of newness, like just creating your own reminders. That sounds like a game in itself. So it'd be great to hear what's coming up for you. And meanwhile, handing over to Prashant, we'll bring Paula back in. Thank you.
Hi, and welcome back. And the most important question for all of us is, what was the score in the last 15 minutes? As was said, discussion will be going on, but there is another game for us, and game was for the invisible prince to stay conscious. And if he's not conscious, line is crossed, and suddenly the story has become everything. At least we are seeing the contrast, what it means, and what it means to see the alokik dimension and the importance of that beyond the plastic. Plastic world is so convincing and so sophisticated. It is glitter, but it is a convincing glitter. And you need paras to not to be defeated in this. Patthar will be defeated in the first round. Just song is enough. He's out of the ring, Patthar. But we need to use paras to deal with this, to win this game. at least we understand the contrast. That's a starting position for us. Yeah, very happy to hear any comments, questions.
Thank you. How to find balance? On the one hand, it's worthless plastic camp, as was said. On the other hand, this drama is a gift and a wonder.
Yes. It is just like many things that happen in this world. If you are watching a film, it is all amazing. The film is made really, really well. They are showing beautiful people and beautiful castles, and everything is perfect. It doesn't mean I have to claim that and jump on that and forget my world altogether. We use our sense to know that these are just images, literally like plastic, on a plastic screen, and we are seeing all this. And we don't get deceived in that. Same here also. Things are in this, amazing. It is a wonderland here also. Everything is done so well, but we hold that bigger space. It is a story, and it is not our world.
I can feel it's the bitter medicine that we need to give ego. I notice reaction sometimes with this language, but a virtual world is amazing. Sometimes you put on the headset and the handset and something simple looks really amazing. So it feels this physical world, it's amazing, but we have to tell the ego as well that it is without value, which is true, isn't it? In the real world, you can't use anything of the virtual world. Does it make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
A question that I sensed in the room, one of the rooms, how do we measure? Is it possible to measure our own progress? Is that something that we can, it would be encouraging also?
Yeah. In every minute, you are creating time. You are using paras. Paras is becoming strong. You are already a winner. In this world, how many people create time for anything like this? So if you are creating time to understand, you're already, victory has started. But then if you create time to actually experience, the 1 minute in a day, you are already a winner. But you have the option to also stop the Ravan's heads, not to nourish, but to observe which heads are on the list to be removed, and stop those. Then you are a big winner. Every time you give a knock to Ravan, in the same second, it is replaced with happiness. This will be the experience of everyone. You can experiment. Any head of Ravan, you give it it appears you are depriving yourselves of happiness, but actually at practical level, what happens? It is replaced with happiness. You just stop some of the heads of Ravan. Try and see. And so our progress is this. Some heads of Ravans are stopped, and that allows you to experience the alokik dimension more easily. Just now, when we said plastic, some of you might have noticed it stops Ravan. Because Ravan is the one who has made a big hype of this of the story. The Ravan doesn't see it as a story. Ravan gives such life and importance to this. You reduce it by some words like this story, whatever. But if it shrinks Ravan and continues, you continue with that attitude. Not that you shrink it and then feed it and shrink it and feed it. Then the process continues longer. You shrink it until it becomes unconscious. Then you can fly. That alokik becomes more and more easy for you. So you are in the journey of victory. Progress has already started. But big success is now making it more and more natural. And that is proportionate to how we have stopped all the subtle and gross hates of Ravan. Game is this. The game is battle is between angel and demon. And more you use knowledge, more you use paras, in that environment, Ravan shrinks. There was someone put it nicely. Don't fight a battle in darkness. Fight this battle in light. In the darkness, it favors the demon. You have choice. Create light all the time. And in this environment of light, angel wins.
Really such a beautiful thing to create the right atmosphere of light, and those things are automatic. So is it like twofold effort? We're empowering the prince with light, who is already in Dharma, is like already has the deity angel ethics. And the second is to stop the beggar, who is Adharma, who's helplessly selfish. So it feels like there's two things. If the effort and the effect doesn't happen immediately, does it mean it's not accurate?
All along, everyone needs checking. Is there some refinement we can introduce? And that checking has to be there. We saw in our earlier discussion, ego is stubborn, ego can adapt, ego will stay, keep you there, trying to make you holy, make you spiritual, this kind of new title. But then you are in the plastic camp by doing this. I, in the story. So that will come, if not today, tomorrow. That ego will come in different form. All along, some checking and refinement is required. When it is accurate, the results are big results. That's why we are saying even for 1 minute accurate, there are big results. Experiences are guaranteed.
Nice. There's a comment: to catch hold of the self. Notice you cross the line, quickly stop and jump is the key. Stop the heads of Ravan, and in a second I'll experience happiness. And this huge shift of experience. It's a great practice. So there are no other questions, comments at this stage.
So there's some practice again. And we will also have the transmission and from Anduban. So first few minutes of full attention And this is something we can introduce for us over the next few weeks. And these are 4 steps. First step for us is just creating an environment of knowledge. Like, coming from cold to sudden, soul consciousness. It doesn't happen. That's why environment of knowledge. If there is an environment of passion, in a drama-based passion, which is all Ravan's life, big feelings and maybe disappointments or concerns. So in that environment, you can't create soul consciousness. So first step is create environment of knowledge. And in this environment of knowledge, you are just reminding the journey of the soul. This is the family of living stars. And they come in this plastic world. They are here for a short time. By using this word plastic, contrast stands out. And then we can really see that is like the theater, artificial. Just using the word plastic, but it really gives a feeling it is foreign. It is not ours. And these invisible players, they have a journey back and they have a home and they have the family and father. They're just reminding, creating this awareness. Not a deep meditation, but at the same time, it creates the atmosphere, inner atmosphere. It changes the game, brings light, as if when there are these big passions based on the story, it is darkness. It is Ravan is full command. Now here you are now understanding, wow, it is like how come anyone can forget something like this? It is a journey of the invisible players. So this is first. Now the second step for us is we have our attention, one function within us, that is attention. And this attention, we can direct it anywhere. And our whole meditation is based on this function of attention. Just like a torch. You can shine torch at different places. In the same way, attention takes us to different places. Ordinarily, it is Ravan's camp. It is in the plastic world. Attention is going all over. But in the story, that is not helping the soul. That absolutely, nourishes Ravan's 10 heads in different ways. It is not neutral. Those thoughts are not neutral. They feed something somewhere. But now we have the option to use this attention, direct it to the world beyond. And this is also possible. With attention, we can go anywhere in a second. So the supreme home, it is like a sky, but we are underlining this word. It is a word, it's a world beyond this story. So right now, attention is in that supreme sky. That experience is more important. Whether you keep the eyes open, closed, that doesn't matter. But inner eye is seeing that expanse and experiencing that expanse. That is the step 2. And this creates the environment that is favorable to the soul. We often say no one can wake up in a vacuum. You need an environment for anyone to wake up. You wake up, anyone wakes up in a certain world. So this environment favors the soul. Step 3 is engagement. So we are seeing this sky. We are understanding this is important. This is the real world. And this is the home of the true family. Our attention is there with these living stars. And this is the home of the true Father. This is the world of truth, real world. So it is attention. Then step 3 is engagement. And you are engaged deeper in this experience. This environment helps the true self to become conscious. And for the true self, it is normal to be just a point, conscious, living, just a star, seeing it that way. Totally happy, comfortable to belong to this supreme sky. Natural to belong to the great family of stars. Natural to be loved by God. Belong to this supreme friend and Father. We see it as natural and normal for him, for the true self. It's totally normal to be so independent from the story. As this true self continues on his journey in the sky or on earth, he knows that he is very lucky. We are talking here family of God, world of God, world of immortality, world of joy and love, world beyond harm. And this is natural, normal for him. He also knows there is a story down below. That story is there, story may finish, story is not there. That is not his concern. He knows his complete independence from the story. Happy to come in the story. When he comes in the story, this invisible self, invisible player, he comes in the story as an invisible observer, as an invisible actor. He never becomes part of that plastic world. He comes in that world with a certain caution, not to be drawn into that plastic glitter. Thank you.
The sequence helps a lot. We've just put the steps in the chat. Thank you so much. So should we go to the drill? We will also share details of the next retreat by email. Enjoy the experiments. Thank you all. We'll now go to Madhavan for Dada's drill. Shanti.
मन बुद्धि संस्कार तीनों के मालिक बन ऑर्डर करो स्वीट साइलेंस तो अनुभव करो ऑर्डर करने से अधिकारी बनने से तीनों ये ऑर्डर में रहते हैं। अभी अभी अधिकारी की स्टेज पर स्थित हो जाओ।